Okay, yes. Very, very interesting now. We've finally had a move that is giving us some indication of what's next. Um, at least on a larger perspective. So, you know, I've been talking about this down move on the 4 hour for weeks now. Um, it's clear to see, but I was also very much aware of this larger macro range here. Here's your breaker structure, here's your high, obviously, here's your low, and then you look into play between these two areas. You're going to bounce from the 50% mark. Pretty good bounce. It's just been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of up, and yesterday was our first real down day. Wow, that's insane. Is that right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 consecutive green candles just up. Like, go back and try and find another instance of that. Um, Very interesting indeed that we've finally had a decent move. Um, and I think it's significant because let me just put that back on. I think it's significant because although we've hit the 50% mark here on the macro range, there's no reason that we can't just pull back again and then collect even more demand and come around to the 618, around to these demand zones here, and then make that move up. We don't have to just make that move up now. Sure, it's a really aggressive move up. Really, really aggressive move up. We could just keep going. But there's no reason that we couldn't just come down and get even more and then go. So what I'm seeing right now is very similar to what I was seeing in the last lower high. So you can see right here. Let's get rid of that. Actually, it won't matter. Right, so I completely called this as the lower high. I called it because I said this is the low that took out the previous high, okay? Led to a new high. We lost that low on a 4 hour structure, okay? You can clearly see that. You then get the pullback into the supply. What happens? You break structure, okay? You break that weak low. Now, I've been in a point of indecision where I need this level to give me the confirmation that the daily structure and the 4 hour structure are now in line with each other, because the 4 hour is counter the daily. Okay, so the daily and the 4 hour are not aligned, they're opposing each other. The 4 hour says down, but the daily says up. Okay, now it's clear to see that the 4 hour is very intent on down. Okay, I've been talking about this supply range right here. You've got a nice move up into there. Okay, I've told you to be very, very, very careful around this zone, but on a day's trading perspective, we can still expect higher while we hold bullish structure, and I fully expected this level at least to swing failure pattern. You've got that supply that's been tapped a couple of times. It would have been a very, very nice opportunity to get at least into that zone again. I believed, but what have we had? Here's the low that took out the previous high. Okay, there's closes there. There's the previous high. There's the low that took out the previous high. What happened? We've closed 4 hour candles. Okay, 4 hour candles have now closed below the last low that took out the previous high. I don't think I could make that much simpler. Now you're getting this clear, clear intent down for the market. Let's dive into that a bit deeper. Okay, let's look at the 15-minute now. Let's look at it from this perspective. Okay, so you're making this move, you make a new move, right? So you break structure here. This becomes your lowest point after that breaker structure. Okay, so you take this point and you take this point where it broke, and then you find the lowest one. Okay, and that's that. So that becomes your new swing low, right? Not only is that your swing low, but as I spoke about yesterday, it's also taken out previous supply. So let's just add in. Let's just add everything in. Yeah. So this was previous supply. Okay. Previously, you know, pretty decent supply. You tapped into it. You then formed a nice chunk of demand, and then that broke structure. Therefore, it becomes significant. Okay. This becomes significant. You come down, you tap back into it. Then you make another break of structure. Okay. So you break in structure here. This becomes the low that took out the previous high. You've broken that 15-minute structure there. And then what happens? New York opens. You begin to break these internal lows here. Break that low, you break that low. And then what happens? You get that move back into supply. And then it drops, okay? But the more significant thing is it's dropped below these lows, below this demand zone, right? We were expecting higher prices. Doubled up a bit there. We were expecting higher prices as long as this region holds. You can go back and watch that video. As long as this region holds and as long as these lows hold. Okay, what's happened? We've broken those lows. Interestingly enough, this is a level I marked out as well. I mentioned how it hit into a weekly close. You gathered some demand and then you broke out. So there'd be signs of demand there and it would probably be defended. Interestingly enough, that was the low of the day. But yeah, you want to know what's next. I'll quickly talk about a couple of things I messed up on yesterday. So please bear with, and then I'll let you know what I expect next. Well, obviously I was talking about that long opportunity on the London session, and I documented that enough so that you'll be able to go back and see. I took it around here, I believe. Was it then? No, it was around. Yeah, it was here because I was looking at this 5-minute and the 15-minute block right here. So I was looking at a retrace potentially into there, and I was looking for a long opportunity to take out the previous day high at least. Okay, I managed to get that into the crew, nice and early. Would I be able to find that? Let's have a look. Sorry, a lot went on yesterday, obviously. Oh, I should have had this prepared. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was me woman. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this was the idea. At the 15-minute block, you had these VWAPs, and I was looking for a long with our first target being the previous day high, and then potentially that supply above that I just talked about in those highs. So the anticipation was that we would just keep going as long as bullish structure held, and bullish structure at this point was very much holding. You can see here London ideas may not get that deep though, so I'm watching VWAP. Went through this in my next update video, managed to get that, got in a VWAP, and I traded that all the way up here to previous day highs where I closed out my trade. Okay, so what happened next? I had a limit order set on this 5. When I saw price move down aggressively at New York, so this is where my fuck ups are. Okay, I'll openly admit I made mistakes. I had a limit order set right there. I had a clear stop below the low. I pulled that order when you get a clear bounce, right? And then there's an obvious opportunity here to short. Okay, that's my second fuck up. I'd clearly seen that internal lows are beginning to break. Okay, so these are signs here. This was a low that took out previous high. This was a significant area in the chart. Let me just pull it back. Okay, this was my first fuck up. This was my first fuck up. I shouldn't have pulled that limit. I should have held that limit and I should have taken profit, and I should have flipped short when I saw that there was a clear and obvious short and opportunity right there. Easy. 618. You'd broken this low. This was a low that took out a previous high. This was a strong internal low, and it got taken out. Okay, it bounced from a region I was looking to long, and it went into a region I should have shorted, and I looked at it and I didn't short it. I was an idiot. Okay, and I admit that. It is what it is. What happened instead? It came back down, and I was looking to re-long again. I was looking to re-long the retrace because we've broken some internal structures here on the low time frame side, but I was fighting inside the New York initial balance, and I was fighting the momentum that was down, and then I got taken out on that next long. Okay, so I didn't take the first long, I didn't take the second short that I should have, and then I got stopped out on the attempt to long this. Okay, then you come and you take out these lows here. You can see that wick. Come and take out those lows. There's a 1 hour gap right here. Where have we gone? Yep, there's a 1 hour gap. Where's it gone? I'm confused. There we are. There's a 1 hour gap right here. I was looking to long after this liquidity grab here. You can see what happened. You get a nice reaction there. But then in this, the next candle, it just goes and it keeps going and it wipes me out there. Okay, so that was my second loss of the day. And at this point, I'm like, right, I've got a 3-strike rule. I will not do anything else unless I get a kill shot. Okay, so what did I do? I waited for a retrace back into premium supply. You know, you've got levels here. Yeah, this was the retrace that I talked about that broke structure. So this was an expectation that this would hold. You get the retrace into the New York initial balance, and now you start coming back into the premium pricing. I've got a clear invalidation above the New York initial balance. Okay, this was also around the value area high of the day as well. So I was looking to short in this region here. Okay, what happened? I got my short and it played out. Okay, happy enough with that. I'm now in a swing short. I'll call it a swing short because I haven't had to close it after the session on the day. It's in my Bing account, so I've closed 50% last night at the close when I got home. And then since then, you know, it's been retraced back up, so at least I grabbed that 50% take profit. I call it a swing short because obviously I didn't have to close it, but I am hoping to hold it for longer. And I will be looking for more short opportunities today, which finally brings me round to what I expect next. Sorry, that took a lot. I'll put a timestamp in so you can just jump to that if you want. But it was a good learning process. We went through everything and we figured out exactly what's going on. We used the high time frame perspective, and I gave you some of my trading fuck ups for you to enjoy and hopefully learn from. Okay, well, what's next? I've just noticed that. Let's keep an eye on that. There's another one there inside that. Let's keep an eye on that. Okay, so what's next? Obviously, I've got this 4 hour or a yellow zone. Yellows are my 4 hours because I deem them important. And yellow's important. I don't know why, but anyway, you've got a 15-minute supply range here. This was the supply range that ran into this 15-minute zone here, ran into the supply range, and then it was the one that broke structure. This was what led to that break here of these key levels I was talking about in the last one. Okay, the last section. So now what we're looking for simply is that we're expecting that now the internal structures are broken, that we will expect a move higher into premium supply, and we've got clear invalidation above what is now considered a strong high and a weak low. So for me, if we get anywhere near here, previous day value area high, you've got the 4 hour block, you've got a 702, you've got a 786, you've got a 5-minute area there, you've got a 15-minute supply zone, and you've got an extreme up here. For me, I'm in my swing account. Obviously, I look for more the sniper entry on the quantile, but pretty much I'm just going to be entering around that zone there. I've got a clear invalidation above that high, and I'm going to be looking for the first zone really, which is that. That's going to be my first take profit, which is this previous demand. If we are going to be in a new, if we are in this larger 4 hour, let's go on to the one. if we are in this larger 4 hour lower high, and this is going to keep going, then the expectation really is that this low goes. So I'd quite like to be holding a short at that time. So there's no reason really it couldn't turn into a 15R trade. But you know, there's going to be bumps along the way. That's definitely a take profit. If you break below, if you you get a bounce from that, you potentially get another scenario to do. Sorry, this is getting so messy. Oh, there's London. So if this bounces here, we get that short opportunity. There's a good chance we come back down. We get it's a nice take profit there. There's a potential opportunity that we get the next lower high. You know, price probably doesn't move this nice for us, but you know, there's potential to fill another short there. And then you go and you test a new demand down there, and then you get another one. Do you know what I mean? So this could be a very, very nice place to play, because you've got such thin parts of the chart here. Like there's like zero volume built up in these regions because we just moved up so fast. Like if you look at the move down, it's, you know, there's a lot to play with. There's a lot of movement. It's very, very choppy. It took a while, whereas this thing just kind of just went up. Sorry, burping. But yeah, I think there's so many more opportunities to come, and I think it's so exciting that we've actually broken that low now. I think it would have been a lot harder if it just kept going. You know, let's see. What else? I think that'll do. I'm over my time limit anyway. I didn't want to make this long. You know, you've got this as well. This is an impulse volume profile. You can see here just the gaps and the inefficiencies in the chart that need filling. So on the way down, we can clearly expect some reaction from there, and we'll look for demand as well. So look where all the volume is. You know, there the peaks there. I think there's a real good chance we do come down. Yeah, I think that's it. Today, looking for shorts, and that's about it. You could potentially have played this pullback back up for a potential long opportunity, but I think it's maybe a bit too late at this point. Yeah, good luck. May not even get as high as the 0.5. There is a VWAP close around there. Just be aware of that. But really, we're looking for this. I would much prefer this level up here. And yeah, adios.